In case you didn't know, my $870 computer totally bricked on me after 4 months, so I haven't got an intro to jump into this thing. Is that a good or a bad thing? Who knows? Let's get to the lore. Thanks for watching, guys. If you find this re-upload interesting and would just like to brush up on your knowledge of necromorphs in general, don't forget to smash that sub button. So, now we're gonna jump into it. The Puker variant of necromorph is quite possibly one of the nastiest to ever be created by the marker, leaking bodily fluids and appearing almost like it just got done taking an acid bath. This is a variant that is sorely in need of some Pepto-Bismol. All joking aside, I'm going to cover the morphological characteristics as well as lore and my interpretation of possibly how this twisted creature came to be. The Puker appears to, strangely enough, be the closest form resembling anything somewhat human. But I can only say resembling in the sense that it is a form that if it were down a really long and dark hallway, you'd think it's human, but the gurgling noises may give it away anyways. The Puker Necromorph possesses acid-eaten cavities along the throat and frontal cavities. The acid has clearly worn away the face and left the skull of the unfortunate victim who originally inhabited the body completely barren. The eyes appear to have been lost. Seeing as the eye is a delicate organ that is very sensitive to changes in chemistry, I imagine that the acid has just completely eroded them away, leaving 2 empty sockets. The hair is also completely vanished off the head, leaving the Puker with a smooth scalp that is just bone at this point. The lower jaw has fused with what is left of the neck. The neck itself is burned open. Have you ever had like really bad acid reflux before and it feels like your throat is dissolving? Well, it's actually happened to the Puker. It appears as though there is some sort of original esophagus left to direct the acid, but for the most part it is an open mess completely exposed to the air. The rib cage is a long distant memory of the Puker Necromorph. I believe that the reasoning behind this is our rib cage is held together by a sternum, which is mainly cartilage. The acid has completely eroded it away, allowing the rib cage to open up. Oh, but what's that in the rib cage? Obviously more acid sacs. The lung has been replaced, depending on which Dead Space, by 2 acid factories. In Dead Space 2, these acid sacs are yellow and glowing. In Dead Space 3, they are a dark green color, possibly due to the age of the necromorph. The stomach is nowhere to be found in that mess of a body, so it looks like the lungs have taken over the acid production. Due to this acid production, though, it has also melted away the skin and muscle that contains the abdominal cavity. Because of this, all the organs of the Puker have begun to spill out, dripping acid further down the body. The Puker possesses 3 legs. The original 2 legs that nature had given the person clearly wasn't enough or strong enough for the Puker. They are both used to support the creature, though. One leg in particular appears to be more dominant than the other. The recessive leg has swung around somewhat vestigially to the side, but it can still kind of be used to stabilize the Puker. Another leg has sprouted interestingly not from the pelvic region of the Puker, but instead from the abdominal region. This necrotic leg is going to be made from the remnants of the abdominal muscle and the intestines. This combination gives the new leg a stringy intestinal look that, let's be honest, it's pretty nasty. The hands have become claw-like features and are composed of the fingers of the individual that have now fused together. These claws are used for grappling, grabbing, holding prey, and spewing acid all over them while they do this. This, however, is different in Dead Space 3 as the claws seen are actually much smoother. Again, this could be just due to the age of the organism that changed the morphological traits. The skin, or what's left of the skin, hangs loosely around the Puker. More so on the upper body and legs than in the middle region, which has almost been completely dissolved away. There is some skin still on the back in the middle region, but even then, it looks pretty rough. I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there right now, and you're like, why does the Puker gurgle rather than scream like the rest of the necromorphs? It appears that even though the throat is gone and the lungs newly converted into acidic sacs, that the lungs do retain some ability to draw in air. However, rather than producing a clean breathing noise like you or I would, it must move through acid. This produces a sickly, wet snarl of the Puker, and this is what it's pretty much known for as well. It will also produce gurgling noises when not in combat, but typically if you can hear it, it probably already knows you're there. There are 4 main ways of attacks that the Pukers do to get to their intended target. The first is going to shoot a ball of acid at you. This ball would probably be the size of a volleyball and can be shot from across a room or really any great distances. To a regular person, this would instantly melt through their legs, abdomen, face, arms, pretty much anything it hits. This will leave them helpless if it hits an extremity, or if it hits their face or vital organs, it'll just kill them outright. If wearing armor, this corrodes the armor and slows the person down wearing it, allowing the Puker time to get to them. The second way is a projected stream of bile. There is more this time and would no doubt dissolve a person within mere seconds. For someone in armor, this causes damage to them as it eats through the armor and slows them, although it does not seem that a person at full health will be killed by this in one go. The third way is just your standard melee attack. Like most necromorphs, the Puker is stronger than your average person. Their slice can delimb a person pretty quickly, in fact. Even with armor on and undergoing the rig strengthening process, they can still kill you just by hitting you. The fourth way is the most personal, I believe. The Puker will grab a person in armor and begin to puke on them. Eventually, the helmet is melted away, leaving your nice supple face exposed. At this point, the Puker will vomit down your mouth and face. This will begin the process of dissolving your face, but because it went down your throat, probably because it went through your face, it will also begin to dissolve your insides. This will lead to you coughing as you try to expel the bile, but your trachea and esophagus are quickly eaten away, which ultimately leads to the death of the person. Honestly, just a horrible way to go, good lord. So I promised you a theory on why the Puker becomes what it becomes. Well, like most of the theories I have on the necromorphs in the Dead Space universe, this form exists because of its genetics, I believe. There exists right now certain people who have really bad acid reflux, and basically acid reflux is the overproduction of stomach acid that can lead to the erosion of esophagus, which can later lead to cancers. The gene responsible is utilized postmortem and moved to other areas, specifically the lungs. Here, these, I believe they would be stomach cells, will start the process of acid production. Over time, this will lead to the twisted form of the Puker. Either that, or they come from someone who had an eating disorder that is turned into a necromorph, but judging by the size of the Puker, I don't really think this is the case. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed my Puker episode re-uploaded. If you guys did enjoy my biological breakdown of the Puker, then don't forget to hit that sub button. I'm actually hoping to break 400 subs soon, and it would be a great help. Alright guys, I will see y'all in the next one.